Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Transworld Motocross. I'm Pat Foster and we're out at Milestone today testing the 2019 FC350. So man, what a cool bike. It's been a while since I've ridden one of these, and I forgot how much fun they are. I had a great time today. It's just so versatile. I could really see myself recommending this bike to a lot of people. You know, when you think about riding a 250, for it to really be effective, you got to be pushing hard, riding aggressive, revving the bike. It's a little more work than most people are able to do. However, on the other side, the 450 is so big and so powerful these days. The motor's just frankly too much for 90% of the guys out here. So man, what a cool mix of really encapsulates both bikes and really what they do well. I mean, I think Husky really hit it out of the park with this bike. So the 350 shares the same frame as the FC250, which we tested about a month ago at Alden Baker's, and it received all the same changes. One thing that I really like about the Huskies this year is they added more torsional rigidity. So when you're going into a corner, you're not getting as much sideways flex on the bike. Helping that, they also put a stiffer triple clamp up on top, which just keeps the front end a little bit more stable. Man, I noticed a huge difference across the whole Husky line on how much more stable they are going into the corners. They stay more planted, less movement, and it's just a much more positive feel laying into the ruts. They also added some rigidity. It's a little looser front to back, so it absorbs bumps a little bit better. You know, I don't notice that as much. I do notice the torsional rigidity and just how planted the bike feels, but it also feels fairly supple, and it seems to absorb the bumps, some of the bigger hits. I just think those changes across the board, fantastic move for the Husky this year. So one of the cool things about the 350 engine is, like I said, how versatile it is. You know, it's like a 250 in that you can rev it, and you have to rev it a little bit harder than, say, a 450, but it's not nearly as much work as a 250. Coming out of the corners, you get on it, and if you're in a gear too low, man, the thing will rev and it'll pull. But what surprised me the most about it was when you'd run a higher gear, carry second gear, or even sometimes third gears through some of the turns, how much torque it had. It's got a really good mix of rev and torque, especially on the low end. So it gives you a lot of variance in your riding style. This is something that can appeal to a lot of guys. A younger guy who's aggressive, who likes to rev, will enjoy this bike as much as an older guy that's, you know, maybe a vet rider. It's a little smoother with the throttle. It works well. It would work well for him too. The mid-range pulls really well, and like all the Huskies, it's got a ton of top end. Like I said, again, whether you're revving it or you're short shifting, it's effective either way. You know, there's a couple places out here where some 450 power down low would be good for me. There's a big triple over here in the back that I had a hard time getting over. But man, I hit pretty hard, and coming up a little bit short. I needed like 5 more feet, but I was amazed at how well the suspension soaked things up. It's got new suspension settings this year. The Huskies have gotten a little bit stiffer. They've been too soft for me, and in some cases they're still a little on the soft side, but man, it soaked up those big hits really well. I went in a couple clicks on the compression front and rear. I also went in a couple clicks on the rebound front and rear, just to slow things down and keep it a little more planted to the track. One place that the 350 really shines is the cornering. And it's, you know, one of the things that's funny about it, it feels so much lighter than say a 450. Coming into the corners, you get on the brakes. The brakes are amazing, by the way. Excellent action, really firm, solid feel. But man, I can stop so much quicker on the 350, and ostensibly it feels lighter. It really isn't. It's like 2 pounds lighter, but just fewer forces on the engine. I don't know, it just feels like it stops easier, it lays into the corner easier, the front wheel tracks right where I put it, right in the ruts. It just feels light and nimble compared to a 450. But again, like I said, it's got a little more torque, a little more power than the 250. Just a great mix of both of those machines. So the 350, like the rest of the Husqvarna line, has the bar-mounted map adjusters, the map switches, I should say. Map 1 is a little bit more mellow. I preferred map 2, a little more aggressive down low, a little more oomph out of the corner. However, it didn't really seem to sacrifice much on the top end, so that was a better one for me. I'm a bigger guy. I kind of tend to lean towards 450 power, and the Map 2 was a little bit more aggressive, provided that. There's also launch control on the bike. Of course, the hydraulic clutch is excellent. I already mentioned the brakes are fantastic. And I mean, the brakes on the 450 are amazing, and they feel that much better on the 350. It's really good. So overall, man, I had a great day on this bike. I forgot how much fun this thing is. Like I said, I could see myself recommending this to a lot of folks. So if you find yourself where, gosh, I don't really want to ride as aggressively as you need to ride on a 250, but man, 450 might be a little bit too much for me, this is an awesome option. And the fact that Husky offers this is really cool. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in.